Imagine being a decorated Navy SEAL, a hero who risked everything for her country, and then a judge orders you to remove your silver star, the very symbol of your sacrifice. But what happens next will shock you. Her next move wasn't just about reclaiming her honor, it ended the judge's career. Stay tuned to find out how one woman's bravery turned the tables on a courtroom injustice. If you're part of the Black Visionaries family, hit that like button right now and subscribe for more jaw-dropping stories like this one. It was the kind of courtroom moment that you'd only expect in a movie, but this time it was all too real. In the silence that followed the judge's words, you could feel the weight of the moment pressing down on everyone present. The Navy SEAL, decorated and proud, sat frozen in her chair as the judge ordered her to remove her silver star. A medal that had been a beacon of her sacrifice, her bravery, her undying commitment to her country was now being stripped away, one word at a time. Her name was Lieutenant Commander Grace Davidson. To many, she was a hero, a symbol of what it meant to serve with honor. Grace had always been a fighter, on the battlefield and in life. She had joined the Navy as a young woman, dreaming of making a difference, and over the years, she had earned her place among the most respected members of the SEAL community. Her silver star was more than a medal. It was a reminder of the countless lives she had saved, the dangers she had faced, and the wounds she had borne, physically and emotionally. But now, that very symbol of honor was being torn from her, and the world was watching. The courtroom had been packed. People from all walks of life had come to witness the trial. The media was there, eager for the next headline, and military personnel were present, both supporters and critics of Grace's past decisions. This wasn't just a case about a medal. This was about the question of whether a hero, a decorated soldier, could be brought low by the weight of one mistake. Months earlier, Grace had been part of a mission that had gone horribly wrong. The operation, which was meant to capture a high-ranking enemy operative, ended in disaster. Intelligence had been faulty, and what should have been a surgical strike turned into a bloody firefight. Grace was wounded in the attack, but her injuries were nothing compared to the emotional scars she carried afterward. She was forced to make a difficult decision during the mission, one that resulted in the death of an innocent bystander caught in the crossfire. The incident, though tragic, had never been her intention, but the consequences were severe. The military's internal investigation had already cleared her of any intentional wrongdoing. However, her decision, along with the casualties that followed, had created a cloud of controversy. Some people in the higher ranks felt that her actions were reckless. Others believed that Grace was a victim of bad intelligence, and what had happened was simply the unfortunate chaos of war. But the judge, in his decision, took a different view. He ruled that the Silver Star, awarded to Grace for her bravery during the mission, was no longer deserved. To him, the loss of innocent life overshadowed her heroism, and he ordered her to remove the medal. It was a shocking decision, and it sent shockwaves through the military and beyond. For Grace, the ruling was like a gut punch. She had been proud of the Silver Star, not because it was a trophy, but because it symbolized everything she had given to her country. The blood, the sweat, the sacrifice, it all culminated in that one medal. And now, to have it stripped away in an instant felt like an erasure of everything she had worked for. But Grace was not one to back down easily. She had faced countless life-threatening situations on the battlefield, and this was just another battle she had to fight. What followed was a fight for her honor, for her integrity, and for the truth. After the ruling, Grace's legal team quickly went to work. They appealed the decision, arguing that the judge's ruling was based on incomplete information and emotional judgment. They sought to gather evidence that would support Grace's case, speaking to her fellow soldiers, commanders, and experts who had worked with her. It wasn't just about the Silver Star anymore. It was about proving that Grace was deserving of the respect she had earned. Meanwhile, the media was relentless. Some outlets condemned the judge's decision, calling it a betrayal of the military's values. Others saw the ruling as a necessary step toward accountability. As the public debate raged on, Grace remained focused on the task at hand. She didn't want to be known for a courtroom drama. She wanted to be known for the lives she had saved, the wars she had fought in, and the difference she had made. But as the case continued, something unexpected happened. The judge, once a figure of unquestionable authority, began to feel the pressure. Investigations into his past rulings revealed a troubling pattern. It turned out that he had a history of making questionable decisions, particularly when it came to military personnel. Some of his rulings were seen as biased, and whispers of a personal vendetta began to emerge. Was it possible that his decision to strip Grace of her medal was motivated by something personal? The more the public learned about the judge's past, the more the tide began to turn in Grace's favor. Her supporters, fellow soldiers, veterans, and civilians alike rallied behind her. They flooded social media with messages of support, using hashtags like #JusticeForGrace and #SilverStarForGrace. They were demanding answers and calling for accountability. It wasn't just about the seal anymore. It was about the integrity of the military justice system itself. With the pressure mounting, the judge's career began to unravel. The public outcry reached a boiling point. Investigations into his past decisions revealed that he had made rulings that were inconsistent with military values, and some even accused him of having personal biases against certain members of the armed forces. The once respected judge now found himself under intense scrutiny, and it wasn't long before the authorities were forced to take action. The case that had started with Grace being stripped of her Silver Star had now become about much more than just one medal. It was about the pursuit of justice, the need for accountability, and the question of who truly deserved the honor of serving their country. And in the end, it wasn't just Grace who walked away victorious. When the judge was forced to resign, it was a moment of justice, not only for Grace, but for every person who had ever faced unfair judgment. Grace's Silver Star was reinstated, and her name was cleared. But more importantly, her story became a symbol of courage, resilience, and the fight for what's right. Though Grace could have returned to military life, she chose instead to use her platform to advocate for other veterans and service members who had been wronged. She spoke about the importance of justice, transparency, and integrity in the military, and how no one, no matter their rank or reputation, should be above accountability. Her journey didn't end with the reinstatement of her medal. It ended with her finding a new mission to ensure that the values of honor, courage, and respect were upheld not just in the battlefield, but in every courtroom, every decision, and every person who served. Grace's story was one of redemption, but it was also a reminder that heroes don't always wear their medals on their chest. Sometimes they wear their integrity on their sleeve and fight for what's right, no matter the cost. And in the end, Grace Davidson was not just a SEAL. She was a symbol of justice. Before you go, make sure you subscribe right now and join the Black Visionaries family, because we're building a movement of stories that open eyes, touch hearts, and change lives. Until next time.